content 5 days a week, and not even 5 days a week. Some days I post 3 days a week. Some days I post 2 days a week. Sometimes I post 5 days a week. But if you build an audience, people will keep coming back. And where's my next deal coming from? Outreach. My deals all come from outreach. One time in my whole career, one time did somebody call me and say, by the way, I need your help. Can you please come work on this project with me? One time. Every other time was me reaching out to people. Hey, what do you need? What's going on? I heard you have some new projects. Do you need some help? Yes, exactly, Andy. You're exactly who we're looking for. Please come help us. For me, my deals all come from outreach. And if you slow down your outreach, your responses slow down, everything slows down. So if you get stressed or you don't have any money or you're in that cycle of, I need the next one, focus on your outreach, focus on your relationships, focus on reaching out, focus on more content. Always, always, always. That's why I say never let your foot off the gas. Some people go, oh, I've got 4 contracts. I don't have to worry about it. I've got blah, blah. Yeah, that's when you need to press harder, because somebody with bigger, badder, huger budgets could come in and eat your lunch. It's just the way it is. And then, so if you think it's going well, triple down, right? If you think it's not going good, 10 times down, right? The bottom line is business happens because we reach out to people in pain. Think of it this way. Justin is hurting. His throat's hurting. He's gone to 3 or 4 specialists, right? If somebody called him and said, by the way, not me, but if somebody called him and said, I know exactly what's wrong with your throat. Here's exactly what you need to do. Here's how much it is. He'd be like, okay, just tell me. Yeah, where do I pay? Because he has urgency. He has need. He's suffering. He wants it fixed. Those people are not out standing on the sidelines with a flag saying, over here, I'm over here. No. They're hiding in the corner trying to fix whatever's broken. That's why you have to go find them. So don't ever let up. That's why I have spent the last 2 years now focused on sales and marketing. Even though I was doing all the right stuff, I never knew that's exactly how to describe it. I learned the vocabulary of sales and marketing. I learned what I was doing, how to describe it in a way that everybody else understands. And now, at least I get it, and I'm starting to implement it. But where's my next deal coming from? Outreach.
Yeah, thanks, Andy. And yeah, like the inbound that you got, that's a rarity. Like inbound leads are a rarity. If you get them, like you got to capitalize on them very quickly. Time is of the essence within the first, 5 to, 30 minutes, ideally. Because why? Because the data shows that if you capitalize on those inbound leads quickly, there's a higher likelihood of it to close. And then if you wait longer than 30 minutes and even more into like a day or two, like 80% chance you will not close that deal. That's just what the data tells us. And I can tell you that based on experience of closing hundreds of deals, thousands of deals for clients and, employers and fill in the blank. And so, yeah, Andy's right. You have to hunt and gather. You have to outreach. You have to be proactive. And I'm talking omnipresent. What does that mean? That means that you're being visible on LinkedIn, in the DMs, on X, in the DMs, on your blog, on your website, in email, phone calls, text messages, Instagram, TikTok, whatever you want to do. But just focus on one first, get the ball rolling there, get some traction, get some revenue coming in, and then go into other omnipresences. Because people spread themselves too thin, they can't focus on one thing for 90 days. And once you do that, then you'll see some traction. So, but yeah, good stuff, Andy. Congrats on those milestones on the blog. That's big. Just make sure you're capturing obviously emails and then you're generating that into, revenue from the email list, which I know you are. And minimum viable offer, guys, MVO is what I've been talking about lately. I've been testing this with a lot of clients that I've been working with, we have our MVOs, our minimum viable offer. And so there's minimum viable products and there's minimum viable action that Will talks about. But the thing that you want to start incorporating is come up with that minimum viable offer, one ICP, one audience, one niche, one problem, one pain point, one solution, and one system. Everyone has a system now. Okay, you want to sell the system. You want to sell the transformation. And usually with me, it's a marketing system, right? It's we're rebuilding their engine, their marketing engine. Just like you rebuild a car, things are misfiring, it doesn't have the right spark plugs, they're not using premium gas and they should have been, fill in the blank, right? I'm not a car mechanic, but the point is, when you have all these things going wrong with the engine, you can rebuild things and then you can make sure things are tracked properly, make sure the attribution is there. You're seeing where the data is flowing all the way to the CRM system. You're getting full visibility. You're getting great reporting. I put $1 in, I get $1 out. That's what I want to see. We're acquiring customers, we're retaining customers, revenue is growing like that. That's what that looks like. And so that's the picture I've been painting and it's working. I'm getting traction. So I'm tripling down on this. I'm tripling down on it. So and it's high ticket, which is great. So but yeah, good stuff, Andy. Let's jump over to Jane, and then I want to go to Yvonne and to hear about Jane's wins for the week. And yeah, where's your next deal coming from in cybersecurity? So welcome, Jane. Hope you're doing well.
Yeah, thanks, Justin, and I hope you start feeling better. Boy, you've been through this, and I'm really sorry, but boy, you're a trooper too. You're up here doing spaces, even though you don't feel good, and you're staying at it. You're keep look at that. You're going out today. You're gonna go to meet up with people. So you're such an inspiration, both you and Andy. So I love to tune into your spaces. You guys inspire me tremendously, and I'm learning so much from both of you, and the other people in the room as well. My win for the week is accountability, because that's kind of what Andy and you were focusing on all week, was being accountable and sticking to it. Having a roadmap that you stick with one thing at a time. So I'm in the process of building up a marketable skill. I'm not there yet. I'm involved in a year-long cybersecurity boot camp, which I invested in, and it gave me direction. I have mentorship. I have all the tools at my hand to learn my craft. And my ultimate goal in all of this is to go into cloud security and compliance in a hospital or healthcare setting or healthcare center where they do keep the data or something like that. So much to discover. We've got resumes to write and portfolios to create. But my win for the week is I have been studying for my Network Plus exam, and I booked my appointment to sit for the exam for February 18th. So that's the big day. That'll be certification number 2. I've got Azure 900 certification, and I'm going for the Network Plus. And when I'm done with that, I'll be working on Security Plus. So I have a really nice roadmap to keep this ADH mind on track. Instead of looking at 1,000 different things, I'm focusing on one thing. Sometimes it's hard to focus on one thing, but that's the only way you're going to get, to have that discipline to keep your mind on one thing, because it's really easy to get skirted off into all kinds of different directions, especially with the information overload we have nowadays. And that's why I chose to invest in myself in an educational program, because I needed to have that extra little lift to have focus. I think that that's important as you go through your journey. with this. This doesn't, life doesn't happen in a vacuum. You need other people. You need a team. You need a mentor. You need somebody who you can bounce your ideas off of and talk to and keep you, an accountability buddy. I think that that's what it is. It's accountability. And that's what I like about these Fridays wins, because it's kind of an accountability time. What did you set out to do Monday? And what did you accomplish today on Friday? And so bring your accountability to the table and let us know what you did. And I think that that's important, to stay accountable to somebody with what you're doing, because otherwise you can make a lot of excuses in your own head to say, well, I didn't have time this week. I sat around in spaces all week. I didn't do anything. So, every week, at least do something. Even if you're sick, maybe you're not going to do like you would do when you're 100% health wise, but you did something. Something, and it doesn't have to be big and it doesn't have to be small. It can be just the right size that you need to do it, but do it. I think that that's the biggest message of the day for me, is you just got to be like Mike Nike and do it. Just do something, anything that is taking you closer to your goal. And with that, I want to thank you, Justin, for giving me a mic and letting me share my win with you this week.
Yeah, hey, thank you, Jane. Yeah, always a pleasure to hear from you. And yeah, I just love how you're continuing to reinvent yourself, and even after having your background as a, 30-year nurse. So, and, continuing to, learn more, do more, and grow more. And that's what it's all about. And so, yeah, just, kudos to you. And yeah, accountability is everything. And if you do have accountability partners through the journey, it makes it that much more fulfilling, right? When you do achieve, and those aren't easy certifications, by the way. So so yeah, keep up the great work on that, Jane. And yeah, have a roadmap and a plan. Like, this is a pro tip, like what Jane just shared. So a lot of companies that I consult, like, one of the first questions I ask is, do you have a marketing plan? And majority of the time they don't. So, so one of the deliverables that I give them is a 90-day plan. It's really a roadmap, like Jane talks about. And of course, I use AI to help me. But the point is, companies don't plan to fail, they fail to plan. And once you at least have a plan that they can work off of for 90 days, even if they don't work with me or not, even if they don't work with me or not, it's okay. They have a plan they can go execute on their own. And I'm charging them a high ticket for that. But what ends up happening is they want to hire me and my agency to help them, right? And typically and you'll find this out, it's like they'll be on the hook, them and their team, they'll be on the hook for certain things, and then I'll be on the hook for certain things, me and my team. And it's a joint effort, right? It's a team effort. And so, yeah, like a perfect example too of last year, I worked very closely with an e-commerce company here in Mendocino. They sell dahlias, kind of up near where Andy is, and you know they didn't have much sales going on, and then I ran ads for them, and I trained them on social media, and now, like, they're crushing it, right? They're crushing it, and they don't necessarily even need me anymore, and that's fine. They just consult me on an hourly basis when they need me. But the point is they have a plan. They have a they have a 90-day plan, they have a 1-year plan, they have a team, they're executing it. And so, yeah, just to Jane's point, just have a roadmap, have a plan, not only for yourself, but for your clients, because that shows professionalism, that shows organization, that shows leadership, and it's going to help you along the journey. So, and stick to it, like Jane said, and everything is figure outable. Okay, like, one of my previous employers I worked with, we were talking, and he's like, "Yeah, Justin, everything's figure outable," and I'm like, "Yeah." And I sat on the phone with HubSpot support for, gosh, I'm being generous in saying this, but I was probably on the phone with them for about 300 hours last year. 300 hours with HubSpot support, because again, everything is figure outable, but the tech stuff is not as easy as people make it seem. As we know, if you work in tech, you know what I'm talking about. So, but yeah, great share, Jane. Thanks so much for being here. Let's check in with Yvonne. Yvonne, how's it going? Happy Friday. Hope you're feeling better.
Hey, happy Friday. Right back at you. Oh my goodness. I've been praying for you and your health and stuff, but I have a good feeling about this new doctor. I don't know why I'm saying that, but it came to me. So let's just share it out. I feel like by after this weekend or when you go to the next doctor by next week, you're going to be like getting back to 100% yourself. So let's just put that out there for you. Yeah. And same for me, you guys. As you know, I've been on and off with dealing with health stuff, and I just want to echo some of the stuff that Jane said. And girl, I got to give you some love because I love that you're like on this whole new pursuit of, this new adventure for yourself. And I think that is freaking awesome and badass on so many levels. So I just got to give you some love there for that. And for me, I'm definitely feeling a little bit better today. I've only had 6 hours of sleep, but the exciting thing is, despite that, I woke up early because, as you know, when you get sick, everything is all wackadoo, man. I've been like staying up till like 1 o'clock, sometimes 2 o'clock in the morning, and then of course my body gets overtired. It takes too long for everything to kind of kick in, and it's like you're fighting with yourself. It's super frustrating, but thankfully I woke up nice and early, even though I'm still feeling wackadoo. But my wins for the week is the fact that I tried to focus on, okay, despite that, like, what are the actions that I am taking today, and making sure that no matter how small my actions were, that I was still moving forward toward the goal, kind of like what Jane was saying. And so I ended up, I'm ahead on my company newsletter now. I already had one. I'm starting to get to where I have them scheduled now, so I'm getting excited about that. And it's getting easier to do that. So that was a big thing. Like sometimes when you start building something, at least for me, because I'm a big planner and everything, which is not always great. Attention to detail can be good, but not if it's going to prevent you from profitability in the long term, and then obviously get you in that state where analysis paralysis kind of crap, right? So just glad that I finally, since I had all of that other stuff done, I didn't get overwhelmed, obviously because of community with yours, and then Unshakable Entrepreneurs with Will and everything. So I'm just glad that I actually produced results, like got those going. Now I have all my email newsletter templates ready to go. I still do have to do a couple tweaks on the website there. Worked on that a little bit last night, but now it's getting a lot easier to actually write the articles, because at first I was feeling very overwhelmed. But now that I did all the grunt work, right, all the foundation building, now I have all my templates and everything ready to go. So literally now all I have to do is write the articles, and I have a format for that I've been working with as well. And it's moving a lot faster for me than it was when I first started, where it felt very daunting, but I pushed through that anyway. So I'm pumped about that. And then I'm also going to be working on my personal newsletter, because I actually have a lot more subscribers on my personal newsletter, and just getting that consistency. And I'm just, honestly, I know it's cheese-a-rama, but you get this, I'm sure, like you showing up here, like that should be, um, you know, um, proud of yourself for doing that, because I'm just proud of myself that even if it was only one article that I went ahead and did, and got all the images, all those little things you got to do, the SEO, all the backlinks, all this stuff. Like sometimes when you're sick, you're like, oh, I don't even want to feel like thinking about it because it just hurts to think. And so I'm just proud of myself for executing, following through to completion, and having tangible results of things that are moving me forward, so I don't feel so far behind. And just looking forward to this weekend. I'm going to try to crush it a little bit more since I'm feeling better. And yeah, before I ramble on anymore, I'm just excited about that and building the consistency, building the habit and everything. And I'm getting more and more excited about it as I do. Oh, last, I'll also say, I got my first revenue from my ad stuff on my newsletter, and I have like under 20 subscribers on there because I haven't even promoted that out to anybody yet, right? It's just like with people that I know in my community and stuff. So I don't even have a lot of people, and I already got my first ad money on that. So I'm kind of pumped about that because I haven't even like tipped the surface on that. So, already some revenue coming in from that revenue stream. So I'm excited.
Let's go, Yvonne. Yeah, congratulations. Yeah, I'm glad you're feeling better. And yeah, like I'm a proud subscriber of your underground newsletter, the actors one, and yeah, it's quite good. A lot of, behind the scenes type of story sharing and pro tips as well, which, having that angle and that perspective is going to help me in, what I do as well. And, there you want to have different perspectives, right? Like we don't know it all. And so, especially with Yvonne's industry, entertainment, acting, stuff like that, like you know, I want to see those different perspectives because it'll help me become a better marketer because then I'll have, different angles, different perspectives. So really powerful, Yvonne, really enjoyed your newsletter. And yeah, success is, the habits that we create, success becomes a habit, right? Just like anything else, because your consistency, you're putting in the work and you're going to start reaping the rewards. And as long as you're consistent, which 80% of it is consistency. And that's why, this is a 5-year plan that I'm on and I'm starting year 3 that we're on. And I say we, because, you guys have been on the journey with me since day one, really. And so, yeah, like, yeah, keep up the great work you're doing. And yeah, I'll be at that NAM conference today in Anaheim, which stands for National Association of Music Merchants. So Dan Roeder will be there. He invited me. And so I'm going to go up there for the day. I rearranged my schedule. So yeah, if you if you're near there, you want to come down, let me know, Yvonne. Dan has some extra VIP tickets. So, you want to attend, shoot me a DM. But yeah, I'll be going just for the day, just checking it
I'll
out.
jump in my Learjet and I'll be right over.
Yeah, yeah, you too, Jane. Just take that private jet. We got you. So awesome. Well, thanks again, Yvonne, and glad you're feeling better. And yeah, like I'm gonna go see a ear, nose, and throat specialist next week, and see what's going on here because yeah, this is definitely not normal. So, but yeah, keep up the great work, and yeah, I know you're kind of slowly releasing your newsletter, so. And I'm sure you already know this, but I'll point it out anyways. Make sure when it's ready for public release, just obviously add it to your bio somewhere, in your profile. And, that's what I do on my profile is I have my Beehive link to my newsletter and then obviously the website. And I put that where location's supposed to go. I just put the website there. So I really have 2 links there, that people can click on. So just consider that. So, all right. Thank you, Yvonne. Let's go over to Will, and would love to hear from Will. And shout out to Cindy and Josh Hellman. Good to see you, Josh. Happy Friday. Hope you're doing well. And yeah, the baby's not a baby anymore. So hope things are going well. It goes by quick, Josh. My baby's 4 now, and I can't call her a baby anymore because she won't let me. She says, "Daddy, I'm not a baby." And I'm like, "Okay, well, you always be my baby, And she's like, "No, Daddy, I'm not a baby. I'm a big girl now." I was like, "Okay, sorry, no problem. Okay, Ronin, little Ronin." So, okay, but yeah, good to see you, Josh. All good, and yeah, great to have you aboard. Will, over to you, man. How's it going? Wins for the week.
Hey, Justin. Man, it's been a great week. Just heard a little bit about what was going on there. Glad you're feeling better, Yvonne. Hope you're feeling better soon, Justin. Man, this week has been so full on. Andy just called me out. I posted Happy Thursday in my community today. It is Friday. Thank you for the heads up, Andy. I will fix that in a minute. But yeah, it's been full on this week. Absolutely loving it. At just basically a complete influx of people asking me for coaching, which was great. So reaching out, getting some new things set up, but basically at capacity now, which is lovely. So that's my win for the week. I've also taken the advice of my business mentor and split my community down the middle. Not great for organic growth, but better for containment. So this is splitting the identity work and the business accountability work into 2 containers. And it was a bit of a suck to do because I had to lose my top 1% community builder star on school, but it is worthwhile because now I have 2 complete independent products that don't overlap with each other. So I know a few people in the room will see this, and if you're a member of the community, I'll be in touch with you like to the second community. But yeah, that's my big win for the week. I put that off for like a day or 2, to really get my head in the right place. But then when I realized that, yep, this is the play, like cutting off an arm to survive, right? Got to be done, got it done, feel much better on the other side. But yeah, that aside, just really busy, really in the trenches, but loving every minute of it. Thank you, Justin.
Yeah, congratulations, Will. And that's really what's achieved after you have full alignment with, your mission, your vision, your values, and you're in full alignment, right? And you're at capacity now, which now it's time to, I'm always going to give the next move, right? So now it's time to start that wait list, to activate that wait list and build that wait list of anticipation. And really, it's really easy to do because you already have the social proof, you already have the testimonials as you continue to gather those. You already have the community that's growing, and they're achieving the results and the transformation. And so yeah, it's only going to keep, growing and growing from here. So just get that wait list going. And yeah, the other thing is the segmentation part. So yeah, just like with emails, you may want to, and now I know why your business mentor explained it to you, is because the more segmented you can get with your email lists, the better. And same with communities, because you want to have that distinction. You want to have that really focus on, okay, this is for these types of people who are at this stage in the game. And then this is a community for people that are at this stage in the game. And you want that separation because why? It elevates the brand, it elevates the community, the messaging, everything is just elevated. And look, like, I've been very clear on here, like, with people of my high ticket offer. I hope one of these days that Danielle can hire me, to help her with as her fractional CMO. I hope that happens, right? Like that's my hope for everyone that, we can hire each other and, pay, I like to pay my friends and do business with my friends, than people I don't like to do business with. But it's all about respect, right? And there's times where people, and I'm guilty of it myself. Okay, I'll just admit, and I'm working on it. But there's people in my network who just because it's natural for me to always negotiate discounts and deals. Okay, that's just in my nature. So, but when it comes to friends and people I've worked with a long time, and maybe people I've met on X, like I don't want to negotiate with them because out of respect, right? I value their time, I value the relationship, so you should be willing to invest appropriately. So, and yeah, like, but everything in life is negotiable. Let me just explain. Every single thing in life is negotiable. There's contracts, yes, but contracts can be amended. Just ask Andy, he works in the space, myself included. Contracts can be amended. You can work out vendor deals, you can work out partnerships, strategic alliances. Everything is negotiable, and making sure that you're getting to that next yes, right? And make sure the power of the ask. This is a really, hidden gem. The power of the ask. Okay, there's power in asking for the sale, right? There's power in asking for the deal. There's power in asking for, what you're looking for, right? And even Timo's mentioned some using keywords in some of his infographics that he shares. But what I like to do is, you know, create possibilities. So, hey, would it be possible if I can maybe get a reduced rate because I didn't see many results from your SEO work over the last quarter? So, would it be possible to get a reduced rate or, a complimentary month to compensate for? I know we're still building the backlinks and all this stuff. Oh, sure, Justin. Yeah, we'll give you a free month. Great. Thank you. Those types of little things add up and help your pocketbook. Okay, so don't be afraid to ask, don't be afraid to negotiate, and don't be afraid to leverage the power of the ask. Okay, back over to you, Will.
I was actually going to say one thing, but you just made me think of another one. But I was going to say, if anyone has not seen that interview between Alex Hormozi and Tony Robbins yet, I posted a very small clip of it yesterday. It's incredibly powerful, and I would highly recommend that you guys check it out. It's effectively a billionaire mentoring a millionaire, and it's kind of like just on camera. And the thing they were talking about was fulfillment, right? And I think this is so important as well, because we build businesses as a means and not the end themselves, right? And I think this is just so good to come back to. And I think my biggest win this week, Justin, if I look back on it, is just getting even clearer on the fulfillment that sort of lights me up and why I'm doing this. And I feel like I've got almost unlimited energy. I'm working at 12 hours a day right now. It's like, it's play. I absolutely love it. But then you also reminded me of the video I posted in the community this morning from Bob Proctor, who's kind of like, I view him as my first mentor. And he said, you know, and he's basically talking about how to rewire brain by writing something 100 times a day, because again, it trains awareness, trains attention. And basically what he's saying is to salespeople, I will be sitting down before 9 a.m. and I'm going to ask somebody to buy. Just like you said, right? The average person doesn't ask for the sale. So much power in that because you build the average person doesn't ask for the sale because they're scared. And you can think of this like exposure therapy, right? The more you normalize asking for the sale, the more we realize, hey, there's nothing to be scared of. The worst thing they can say is no. And then I can get better. So I win either way. Yeah, I'm just feeling much, much more clear on that this week. And it's great. The fulfillment is fantastic. So that's my biggest win for this week.
Listen, guys, winning is fun. Business is fun. Okay, making revenue is really fun. Okay, getting client transformations is fun. Doing business in alignment of purpose, passion, profit, valuing your time, respecting your time, and having clients value what you do, that's fun. Okay, this is fun. You have to make winning fun. And it's a mindset shift. But again, you're seeing it play out here with Will, right? He's having fun doing this. He's fine with working 12 hours a day. Like, so am I. Like, this is fun for me. I love business. I love getting results. That's what I love doing. So, and that's, when you're in full alignment of knowing who you are first, because Will appreciate this because he's my coach, knowing who you are first, and then everything else comes secondary. And Yvonne mentioned execution. Yeah, execution is everything, right? Execution is everything. So, but yeah, good stuff, Will. Yeah, keep up the great work, man. Just start those wait lists. I mean, if I get 2 more clients, I'm gonna have a wait list. And I'm already starting to plan out like what Q2 is looking like for my 90-day sprint clients. So I have some clients that are more, and this is a pro tip for everyone. So we have the Ronin community, right? Revenue. Then we have my fractional CMO clients, and then we have my agency clients. So those are 3 different revenue buckets. So the agency clients are more long term, right? So those can be multiple years. I have one client, Google Ads client, we're into our 2nd year now. And they just signed another year agreement with me. Why? Because I 40x their business. They'd be crazy to go somewhere else. They'd be crazy. And of course I up their rate. Why? Because I 40x their business. So as long as you're getting the results and the transformation, like you can command larger rates. But yeah, separate your revenue into buckets. And again, before you can get 3 going, you need to have 1. So get 1 going and then expand from there. But you want to have your longer term revenue clients on retainer. And then you want to have your 90-day sprint clients. And then when you have your monthly clients, which that's the revenue running community. And that's how I'm structuring it. And then as a bonus, I do get some brand deals. I haven't gotten any yet this year because I haven't been focusing on it. But last year, I think I had 2 brand deals of companies that actually paid. You heard their names. Virtual Synergy for the virtual assistants, and then Play, which is the AI ads powered platform that I use for me and my clients. So yeah, those things exist. Those brand deals. And you just have to ask, right? And you already have the metrics. I mean, I know a lot of you guys have the metrics, so you got to lead with data, because data is not emotional, right? I love dealing with data because that has zero emotion, right? It has zero emotion. So, okay, yeah, let's jump over to Yvonne. Yvonne, jump in here.
Ooh, yeah. I had to tap in after Will said that about that Alex Hermosi and Tony Robbins video. I watched it yesterday. I actually watched it and then listened to it again a second time in the background because it's so much to take in. So I just want to recommend to everybody to definitely check that out because it was fire. So thank you so much, Will, for sharing that. And love me some Bob Proctor freaking all day long. Like his book, You Were Born Rich, is so freaking amazing. Even though I think it was done in like the 70s or something like that, I ended up listening to that after discovering him, and it's so freaking awesome. And I just want to give some gratitude for all of you guys. I'm in a state of gratitude and being in the present moment. And I just have to give a lot of love to you guys and gratitude. People come into our lives, right? Like, and I believe that the universe or God speaks to us through other people. And I definitely think that a lot of that happens in this community, like Jane was saying earlier, right? Having that accountability. You can't do everything by yourself. And I think that that's when, you know, through other people are a vessel for God, you know, or the universe to be that for you when you can't fully be it for yourself when you ask for those things. So I just want to give a lot of love around this room, you guys. It's really exciting, everything that we're building. And it's so exciting to hear everybody's journeys, the dips, the highs, the lows, all of that stuff, because that's what it's all about. And then lastly, I just will say also, when you were talking, Justin, about brand deals, right? Like, dude, we haven't even tapped into that, y'all. And that's a whole nother ballgame. Going back to personal branding, we talk about that a lot, but personal branding, you guys, is so freaking key, especially in today's age with AI on the freaking rise. There's so much that I could say about that, but just remember that, because that's when, aside from even producing products or your newsletter or anything like that that you're doing, some of those brand deals, I mean, celebrities do that stuff all the time, but even just other influencers and stuff, the money that you can make from doing those kind of things, especially if you're building something that's incredible and you're building a great reputation, people want to work with people and they want great people to be with their brands that can represent them, who they really respect and communities respect and people respect. And that's another huge thing that we're building. And that's where the real, in my personal opinion, where the real freaking money comes in.
Yeah, I love that. Brand association, brand association is everything, right? So it really adds to your credibility or your non-credibility. So yeah, just, brand association is big, and personal brand is the ultimate new funnel. It's the new sales funnel. And who's a model at this is Tyler Dirk of Beehive. Okay, he shared a thread recently, and I have to watch that Tony Robbins thing. I just saw the clip of it, but I'm gonna watch that. So thank you for that reminder, Yvonne and Will and Mr. Dalio. I pinned it above, and yeah. So um, as far as the Tyler Dirk, so he has a thread. I'll see if I can find it. But basically, what he's done is he's turned the employees of Beehive into huge brand advocates, and they're really leveraging their personal brands on LinkedIn and X to really grow and amplify their messaging and their visibility for Beehive, and it's working. They're getting, 5, 10 million impressions a month. They're getting signups to the platform. Obviously, that's a byproduct with visibility. And they've just had significant growth because of their social media focus, and not just the Beehive account, but all the leadership team, the executives, and even the employees. So yeah, like that's a big pro tip, Yvonne. So thank you for that. I'll see if I can find the Tyler thing. And then the last thing is I just want to share a quote that came up because Yvonne mentioned, so have an attitude of gratitude because that determines your altitude, right? Have an attitude of gratitude because that determines your altitude. So but yeah, I love that. So yeah, thank you again, Yvonne. Let's check in with Mr. Dalio and then we'll go to Fitz. What's going on, Fitz? Good to see you. Happy Friday. Let's go to Mr. Dalio for your wins, and then we'll go over to Fitz. And then yeah, we'll probably end at like 7:45 unless we get more people on stage here and raising their hands because yeah, I gotta readjust my schedule for today since I'm gonna go to Anaheim. Um And I don't know if it's raining. It was raining yesterday, but I got to check the weather. So, but yeah, Mr. Dalio, welcome. Wins for the week, man. How's it going? Mr. Dalio, are you there? We can't hear you. You're on mute. Okay, let's go over to Fitz. Maybe you're unavailable. Fitz, are you available? Happy Friday, man. How's it going?
Hey, happy Friday. It's going all right. Seems like it's a pretty cold day, cold spell across the United States. A lot of people freaking out about the snow. But I'm just chilling up here, in my little warm apartment in the Seattle area. Yeah, wins for the week. I made a new connection on the street, which was pretty interesting. Uh, I heard these two ladies outside laughing. I was coming from a networking event and just walking back to my car. And I heard these two ladies laughing, and there was just something about their laughter that was like very charming. And I just kind of like looked around and I looked over at them and I struck up a conversation with them. And it turns out they work for the city of Seattle, some kind of some element of fielding emergency and non-emergency calls, like through 911 and then through also like some of their other kind of stuff. And we got to talking and it was like, like maybe Echolink can help you, like with like fielding the non-emergency calls. And like, have you ever thought about AI agentic workflow and stuff like that? And she was like really interested and she gave me her business card. And so there was like a follow-up. So it's like a small win because it's like the beginning of a bigger win, hopefully. But yeah, it could be a possible partnership with the city of Seattle and Echolink. So I was like, whoa, this cool. So that was a cool, like, just random sort of spontaneous win. And those to me are like some of the most fun when it's just like totally unexpected and you're just like charmed by somebody's laughter or something, on the street, and then that turns into a possible business deal. Like, yeah. So yeah, just good vibes. And yeah, that's about it. Just good vibes and a good week.
Yeah, good stuff, Fitz. Yeah, those are always the best types of opportunities when they just happen naturally. And I call that when we grow bigger ears, right? So when we grow bigger ears. So one thing about social media is, we all like to come on here. We all like to talk on spaces, post our content, stuff like that. But where the real power comes is by listening, right? We have two ears. So if you grow bigger ears, and you can really listen for opportunities like Fitz just demonstrated. And yeah, there's so many social conversations go where you can insert yourself respectfully, cordially, and be relatable and just open up conversation. So whether that's on Reddit, on some threads there, or on X Spaces, or even in the timeline, but the platform doesn't really matter at the end of the day. It's just what matters is, are you having the right conversations with the right people at the right time, with the right need, with the right budget? And then when those things happen, and you always got to be networking. Like Fitz, he's like the ultimate networker, man. Like he's in tons of spaces. He's networking online. He's networking offline. That's what it's all about, right? You got to be mindful of opportunities. And recently I found out, Fitz, I want to give you a shout out that you're working with Greg Kennedy, man. So that's a CMO legend, man. So yeah, hat tip to you. That's another win to be, collaborating with Greg Kennedy. So I've been connected with him on X for a while and been watching his journey and saw a lot of his background and his story. And so yeah, he's a great guy. So glad you can be connected up with Greg Kennedy there. So
Yeah,
yeah.
if I may, just I'll quickly give him some kudos too. Yeah, if you don't know, Gregory Kennedy is his at. I can put that in a purple pill, I guess. He's a legend for sure. We met up for lunch, and I'm now a social media ambassador for his Vibe Your SaaS thing. And I've known him here in the Seattle area for a little while. We've kind of circled the wagon, so to speak. And yeah, he's back and forth to San Francisco a bunch, and he's doing a lot of stuff in San Francisco. And so I might start traveling to San Francisco a little bit too, doing some networking there. So yeah, things are growing, things are going, and it's so fun too. We just got set up. I learned about this tool. He uses this tool called Dripify for some of his LinkedIn campaigns, and it's epic. Like, it does a bunch of automated outreach. It connects with people. Like, I basically have grown my LinkedIn connections autonomously. I'm just making more and more connections all the time. And yeah, Dripify, I'll put that in the purple pill too. It's a cool tool. It works really well. And it, like, with LinkedIn, you have to be really careful because with automation, you could get your account flagged pretty easily, like if you kind of go too aggressive. But Dripify seems to have the right balance of like not getting noticed and not getting kind of stuff. You fly under the radar a lot easier. So yeah, I'll put that stuff in a purple pill. But yeah, Greg's awesome. We had lunch, just chatted, hung out. He's a funny guy. We're always sparring back and forth, like, memes upon memes on here on X, and it's hilarious. Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, awesome, Fitz. Yeah, good on you, man. And yeah, I mean, it's good to travel a little bit too. I mean, I love to travel. I did 18 cities in 2 years. When I had one client, I traveled the country and ran all their marketing and their sales and managed their events for them along with one of the speakers. And that was fun, was just doing like some weekend gigs like Friday, Saturday, Sunday with them. And but then, yeah, had a wife and didn't want me traveling as much, so got to make adjustments. So, but yeah, keep up the great work you're doing, Fitz, and yeah, please drop, Greg's profile as well as that tool that you mentioned. And then I do want to, so Josh, shout out to Josh Hellman, ITT Innovators Think Tank. It was one of the first spaces that I, for startups that I started going to, and I've spoken on his stage actually on some sales and marketing stuff. But yeah, he posted some good questions here I want to address. So, how do you define transformation? How do you define impact? I'd love to hear your thoughts. So, yeah, so I think how I define transformation is, you know, first off, we're always reinventing ourselves. We're always reinventing ourselves. And this is kind of a hot take, but ultimately you're only as good, and I'm bringing myself into this. You're only as good as your last sale and your last marketing campaign, right? So if I had a really great campaign, if I made $100 million for clients and employers, like so what? It's what I'm doing now that ultimately matters. That's my track record. But you continuously have to reinvent yourself. And this is why sales and marketing are one of the highest stressed uh, in departments, if you ask me, my opinion. It's one of the hardest departments. Why? Because it's such high stress. You have to constantly be delivering results. Otherwise, you're out. So can you imagine living under that pressure every single day? That's what I've been doing for 15 years, right? So it was a lot different from IT pressure. That's different. But so we have to continuously reinvent ourselves. And how I define transformation is you have to accept that you may have to reinvent yourself. That's how I define transformation. And the Revenue Ronin brand is really my persona that I've had to develop to tap into that extra energy, that extra boost, that extra uh kick when I need it, right? Like I show up as the Revenue Ronin, every single day, Monday through Friday, 6:45 a.m. Pacific. Why? Because that's what I committed to. That's what the Revenue Ronin does. That's the standard, right? Like Michael Jordan has a standard for his team. That's the standard here. And how do I define impact? Well, how I define impact is when my clients are bringing in more revenue and my members are bringing in more revenue. Now I know I'm being impactful, right? So ultimately, passion is great, but passion doesn't pay the bills. Sales does. Sales pays bills. So, you can be very passionate about something, but ultimately, passion doesn't pay the bills. Sales does. Sales and marketing does. So how I define impact is the impact that my clients are having and my members are having by bringing in more revenue as the metric. So And then the other question you asked, Josh, so, we often get lost in meaningless metrics. How do we stay grounded in the impact we want to make? Well, ultimately, a lot of people would love to make more revenue. I mean, unless you're Jim the lazy Canadian, he doesn't, I don't know how much more revenue he's still getting more revenue. I mean, the guy is financially free and he still, took on this social media thing because he was bored. He's told us on Spaces. He's like, yeah, I just wanted to do social media because I was bored. And now he's turned that into a $30,000 a month business. That's the reality. So, um, how do we stay grounded in the impact that we want to make is we at the end of the day we're humans, but we all would love more revenue unless you're financially free like Jim, but even then it shows what type of person he is. He's a continuous learner who wants to learn and grow and bring in more revenue because it's fun for him. Right? It's fun for him. It's fun for me. I love bringing in revenue. Who wouldn't be happy with more revenue? Right? So that's the focus. And you know, uh, of course, relationships is part of that, right? If you want to continue to have your business grow, you have to have relationships as part of that. And to your point, Josh, which you've coached me on this about sharing in revenue of performance, I've incorporated that into my deals as well. So now as they grow, I grow. I don't want to be on the other end of just limited by retainer, right? I want to share in the growth that my clients are achieving. And so yeah, hat tip to you, Josh, for coaching me on that, like I think a year ago. And I've been incorporating that into my contracts. So, but yeah, hopefully that answers the question, Josh. It's always great to hear from you. Great questions, by the way. We got some hands up here, so we'll go for another 15 minutes, guys, and then we'll be signing off. So, okay, let's go over to Yvonne, and then we'll go to Mr. Dalio, and then we'll go to Crafted Workflows. Okay, over to you, Yvonne.
Yeah, I just wanted to tap in and say quickly, I absolutely love what you said there. I'm going to write an article on that, actually. You just inspired an article for me. I have so many topics, but you're only as good, like you said, you're only as good as your last sale. And that's something that I learned that a lot of people in the entertainment industry don't really understand. One is, also you mentioned that about passion doesn't pay the bills, right? That's something like somebody could be a poet and they love doing poetry, or maybe they're an artist, right? But how do you make money from doing that? And that's one of the key things that I do with my business that I'm building, is teaching people about that. And that's one of those things fundamental. Like, are you doing this as a hobby, or are you really doing this as a business? And so many people that go in the entertainment industry, or even content creators for that matter, right? Like it's very correlated in that regard, and they don't think about it. But what you really hit on is and in acting, you're only as good as your last role, right? And film and directing and producing, you're only as good as your last movie that you made. And that is such a powerful lesson. And I just love how you said, because you have to keep going out there and you have to reinvent yourself. I really love how you said that, because that's one of such a key thing, right? And you have to know that as an entrepreneur, because not only do you have to reinvent yourself, but you have to do that with your business a lot of times, right? Like a lot of times, especially after COVID happened, people had to switch things up. They had to change things around. They had to pivot with what was going on, right? And that happens also, like with how you're building your business. Then maybe you hit a plateau. Well, now you got to pivot. And I think that that's something that a lot of people, that's something that us entrepreneurs, we thrive on, right? At least me personally, because I love the challenge. I love thinking about things. I love being able to conquer something and figure something out, or find a new way to do something. It's super rewarding, totally aside from the money. And I think that that's sometimes people see a lot of entrepreneurs, of people that are doing stuff like that, or like, again, in the entertainment industry, and they think, oh, I won a freaking Oscar. Now I can just kind of skate by and ride and everything. Well, not if you want to keep making money. Like, you got to keep putting yourself out there. You got to reinvent yourself. Like in Hollywood, they have to do that all the freaking time. And I think people think that sometimes, they see the big wins that a lot of people make, and they think, oh, I'm just going to ride this, and the entrepreneur brain is very different. It's not a lottery ticket where you just sit there and win a bunch of money and then sit on your butt and not do anything. And then I'll land with also saying, because it is the love of doing the things that you're doing, of expanding yourself, of helping people, of whatever it is that you're building out there. Like, that's kind of the drug as an entrepreneur, so to speak. The money just happens to be a reciprocation and a reward for that in a monetary value way, right? Versus just actually getting the high from doing all of this stuff, and even just being able to conquer things and having little small wins. So I just love that you said that, because it is a journey, right? It's not a destination, it's a journey, and you got to enjoy the ride.
Yeah, well said. And yeah, love of the game and the challenge, right? So I love a challenge. Like Yvonne said, like I love to solve problems that are complex. And that's just the way my brain works. And I think it was somebody Jane, who said like her ADD earlier. Like, so I think all entrepreneurs have ADD. I mean, that's my hot take, because, we just always want to, like, we get this shiny object syndrome. We want to do a lot of different things, right? And that's why I think, entrepreneurs have a certain side about them where it's like, they're not just, they don't want to be boxed in, right? They, like, nobody wants to feel like they're in a box. And for me, like, I've never had a good feeling when I've worked for an employer, because I knew that, hey, I'm just a number on a spreadsheet, like, yeah, I'm bringing them a lot of value. I'm making a lot of money. This is great. 6 figures is awesome. But at the end of the day, like, I always did my own thing on the side, right? Always had my own agency. Because why? Because that's just my fulfillment. That fulfills me fully, because I control, my revenue. And that's why, I put it on pause for a while, but I won't make that mistake again. I put my personal brand on hold for 15 years. I put my email list building on hold for 15 years because I was working in corporate and I was growing my agency. And so I was invisible. I was the guy behind the scenes for a lot of big names. And, and yeah, like I'm not behind the scenes anymore, right? Like I'm front and center, like, and I'm not stopping this time. Um, so yeah, great stuff, Yvonne. Let's go over to Mr. Dalio's coming up here, but while we're waiting, let's go to Crafted Workflow real quick, and then we'll go to Will, and then Mr. Dalio, and then we'll wrap up. So, okay, uh, Crafted Workflow, how's it going?
Hi, everybody. Thanks for the opportunity to speak. Really appreciate you guys hosting these spaces. It's so great to be around other inspirational, motivational builders and people offering services. I've been in the spaces the last 2 days, and I feel like I've learned so much. So thank you, everybody, for being here and sharing. And thank you, Andy and Justin, for hosting. And also, mad respect, Justin. When I'm sick, I don't leave my bed. So it's super cool to see you still grinding and being here hosting. My win for this week, I launched my first digital product last week, and it's been pretty awesome so far. It was a little slower than I hoped. It's been a little rough coming from other disciplines where I'm a bit more experienced and more proficient. But I got my first Notion template launched, and I've gotten around 6 or 7 sales so far. And the feeling is just amazing. And I made a marketing video yesterday that took way longer than I thought. It was a 20-second video that took about 3 hours, but I'm just so happy with the finished product. So anybody at the start of their journey, maybe going through something similar, all I can say is just keep on grinding, keep on at it, because it feels so great. And I'm also approaching 50,000 impressions on Twitter, so that's really fun. Just 200 away. That's a little boost for the week. But again, yeah, thanks for letting me share, and thanks everybody for also sharing. It's super enjoyable to be around like-minded builders and people offering services online. Thanks.
Yeah, amazing. Crafted Workflows, that's good stuff, man. And so, would you mind if I asked, so where did those sales come from, and what is your plan for continuing to build on that momentum now? And congratulations, by the way.
Thanks. And yeah, of course. So I think the sales have just come from Twitter so far. I've been kind of replying a lot with my template links and making posts about it. I just started my Build in Public series, so I think that might be helping out a little bit too. And I'm hoping to build out a catalog of Notion templates as fast as I can. I think right now I'm kind of limited by speed, and I'd like to execute and ship quicker, because I think if I spend too much time on this, it might not be super worth it. So I've got that in the back of my mind. And like Yvonne said earlier, having to pivot, having to reinvent yourself, having to just, find what works and build fast. So kind of focus on that. And going forward, maybe if I can turn some of these Notion template ideas into web apps or services, kind of in line with the whole pivoting or reinventing. I've got that on my mind as well.
Yeah, good stuff, man. And yeah, I'll just share a little pro tip here. So make sure what you do is you follow up with those people who bought from you and you ask them what motivated them to buy, what really, because you want to know exactly, right? You have to know exactly what triggered them to pull out their credit card and say, you know what, I really need this. So you want to find out that intel, and that will help you continue the momentum you already have built, and you'll be able to more incorporate that more into your marketing, messaging, etc. So, but yeah, keep up the great work, man. Keep checking in, and yeah, there's something about building in public that people just can relate to, right? They want to be amongst other builders. So, but yeah, good stuff, man. Well, keep up the great work. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for grabbing the mic. Glad you're getting some value here. That's what it's all about. These spaces will always be free, by the way. I will never charge for my spaces here. Um, when things get crowded, members do have benefits. So I may prioritize certain people because of membership. Just if you look at the Costco model, right? Like you get to shop at Costco if you're a member, right? So when the stage gets full, when we have, so much activity here, we may prioritize certain people because of membership. So I'll put that out there. I'm not hiding anything here, but we're building a movement here, right? We're building a movement of 1,000 Ronins all focused on sales and marketing mastery. That's what we're building together here. That's the mission. And that's what I want. I want 1,000 people all building their businesses, their legacies, and bringing in more revenue all through sales and marketing mastery. And yeah, that's what we're building. So I've been on this journey for the Ronin initiative, or the Ronin brand, started like a year and a half ago, and it continues to grow here. So building $1 million brand in public right alongside you guys. So appreciate everyone, spending some time with us and, contributing to the conversation. Let's check in with Will, and then we'll go to final word here. So, and for final word, we'll go to Jane, Yvonne, Andy, and then we'll close this off. So, Will, final word, over to you.
Thanks very much, Justin. I wanted to say congratulations to Crafted. First sale is something special, so savor that. I also wanted to just throw a different perspective of what you said about you're only as good as your last sale or your last deliverable. The business is true. Like your business reputation is like, here's the last thing I made. But the danger is tying your self-worth to that, because now it's fragile. I teach people how to build an unshakable mindset. And as part of that, you have to realize that you have to be divorced from the outcome, because if you're contingent on the outcome, yes, the highs can take you up, but the lows can bring you down. But if you remain, I like to call it unshakable, right? But it can also be called sovereign. That's another way of saying it, like internally. Regardless of what happens, I am okay. This doesn't mean about me. This just means my application, my approach was off, right? If I didn't get the result I wanted, it doesn't mean anything about me. Like, I still am good enough. And this is so powerful, because I've worked in sales for a very long time, as you know, Justin. The best salespeople are the most relaxed. The best salespeople are the one that need the sale the least. As you know, as you well know, and anyone who's been in business will know this. The person who needs the outcome the least is generally the one who's going to get it. And a big part of the stress that you mentioned in sales is it comes from this idea that if I don't make these sales, I am not good enough. And I'll tell you something that's really powerful. Your body and mind treat a threat to your identity just the same way that they do to a threat in your body. They increase cortisol. They remove your critical factors. They move you into a fight or flight state, sympathetic expression. Because if you view yourself as a good salesperson or as a movie star or whatever it is, and your last thing doesn't do as well as you hoped it would, people are like, oh my God, I'm ruined. I'm not good enough. And this is why they go into spirals and depression. Whereas the person who's like, okay, just a deal in another world full of deals, move on to the next one. And they're like, I'm still excellent. I'm still the best as ever been. Like, so this is how I talk to myself, but however you choose to talk to yourself. When you were able to keep that, regardless of circumstances, I like the way the Bible says it, to see truth regardless of appearances, you are unshakable, right? So I would just say, yes, be very critical of your own work. Notice where you can do better. Look at your last piece of work and look for the ways that you can improve, but never say to yourself that I am only as good as my last piece of work. Because when you tie the self concept, the self-worth to the output, you are very, very fragile. So I just wanted to add that in because you are absolutely right from a business perspective, but it's detrimental from a self-worth perspective. And ultimately, as I've said many times before, your self-worth is the ceiling on your net worth. You'll never earn more than you think you're capable of worth earning. So just be very mindful about that and build yourself up.
Yeah, thank you for the reframe on that, Will. Yeah, you caught that for me, so thank you as my coach. So yeah, guys, you're from a business standpoint, like we said, but to Will's point, it's always next for me, right? Like I had some deals, and perfect prime example is, and this is kind of what stemmed me into getting back into corporate was I was making like 20K a month in my marketing agency after I pivoted from IT. I had like 3 or 4 clients and, building the team, it was going good. And then all of a sudden, like I lost 3 clients within the course of like 3 months. So my revenue went from 20K a month down to like five. So it was like, whoa, that's a big drop, right? So the point is I got scared. Instead of hunting for the next client, I was like, oh, I gotta go get a corporate job. Like I gotta pay my bills, you know? So I got scared, truth be told. And that's part of the reason why I went back into corporate because everyone was telling me, oh yeah, you gotta get a corporate job now, Justin. You can't do another business again. You already made $1 million, you only made 50 grand in profit. You better get a corporate job now, blah, 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 right? Everyone's telling me. So yeah, I got scared and that's why I took corporate job. Um, and yeah, now there's no hiding. Okay. There's this thing called forced entrepreneurship. Okay. This is a topic I'm very passionate about, not because of reality, because of people in my network who are now becoming entrepreneurs because of forced situations. They can't get a job. They've been applying to jobs for over a year and a half. They have master's degrees, product designers, very qualified people, big companies, they're laying off. So that's a reality we have to come to grips with. So, but yeah, good stuff.
Sorry to interject, but that's me. I'm a forced entrepreneur. I started my stuff because I was laid off, and I'm like, well, might as well do this other thing, you know?
Yeah, I feel you, Fitz. Yeah, that's the reality for a lot of people right now. And your grit and your resilience is really showing, like you're showing up, you're putting in the work, you have a vision, you have a mission, and you're doing the work. So yeah, just keep it up, Fitz. It's good to see your growth and the connections that you're making. And yeah, that goes for all of us, right? Like I know a lot of you guys for a long time here on X. So and we're still here, right? We're not going anywhere. So all right, well, let's get the final word here. Let's go to Jane, Yvonne, Andy for 1 minute each, and then I'll close this up, okay? All right, thanks, guys. Jane, over to you. Final word.
Final word, keep at it. No matter what, every day do something that takes you closer to your goal. Stay after it. Some days you're going to be more productive than other days. That's okay. One day at a time. But give yourself a day off. Everybody gets a day off. Take off on Sunday or Saturday or whatever day and just relax and go into flow state and let your mind just daydream about what you can be and where you're going and what you want to do. But definitely every day do one thing, big or small, that gets you closer to your goal.
Yeah, thank you for that reminder, Jane. Yeah, Sundays are my family and relaxed day and faith day. So yes, I'm with you there. At least one day a week. Ideally 2 days a week, but sometimes I got to do extra stuff on Saturday. So yeah, great to have you aboard today's conversation, Jane. Always love connecting with you, and thank you for all the wisdom and keep at it, Jane. So all right, Yvonne.
Us is a doozy.
Yeah, well, put it into the notebook LM and help for your study guides. All right, Yvonne, final word over to you.
Oh yeah. Happy Friday, everybody. I hope everybody has an amazing kick-ass day. Crush it today. And I love what Will said. This is why we need a coach like Will. Because when we get it so caught up in our head, we need somebody that comes to the heart and our awareness, and that is so important. So just much love and gratitude for you. That's why I love these communities so much. And if you guys haven't checked out Will's community, definitely check that out. Make sure you check out Justin's community, Revenue Ronin. I am a proud Revenue Ronin and super pumped to be part of the team. And one day at a time, you guys, like Jane said, just take it one day at a time. Anything is possible. Rome wasn't built in a day, so give yourself a little grace. You're still working on the human plane, and just keep showing up. Make sure you bookmark these spaces. Sometimes you just need a little, recharge boost. If you feel like you're having an off day, listen to some of these spaces. Make sure you join some of these communities, because it really is about the long game. And there are the highs and there are the lows, and that's where community really comes into play. And just believe that that it's possible for yourself. Believe that it's possible for yourself. Go to the end, see yourself there, and do not limit yourself. And that's I'll end it there. Much love.
Yeah, much love to you. Thank you, Yvonne. And yeah, impossible to me just means I'm possible. So, you guys should think of the same, right? So impossible just means I'm possible. That's what that means to me. So, it's a reframe of the mind, right? So don't think it's impossible. Think I'm possible. And yeah, entrepreneur, we're not going to sugarcoat it. Like, the odds are stacked against us, but I mean, crafted workflows, he demonstrated in a little short amount of time, he's able to bring in revenue by creating a product that people desire, Notion templates, very basic, but people invested, right? People had a need and they purchased it. It's a prime example. So find out what people want, go and get it and give it to them. Find out what people want, go and get it and give it to them, and find out exactly what made them buy, right? So I hope crafted workflows talks to those 6 purchasers, thanks them for their purchase, but then asks them, hey, would you mind sharing some feedback on, what made you sign up? Because, you want to value that feedback. It's really critical in the beginning stage, because that's how you're going to go from sales to 60, and then to 600, and then to 6,000, and you just keep building and iterating on that intelligence. People underestimate intelligence, market intelligence, competitive intelligence. That's one of my strengths. That's one of my strong suits, I can tell you. So, all right, final word over to you, Andy.
Well, for the week, most of the time it's a failure, but meaning you did not get the outcome you expected or desired. But that's always the case. So track what you do and track what the outcome is. And then figure out what that number turns out to be, what that ratio is. Every 10 calls, this happens. Every 100 calls, this happens. Every 1,000 calls, this happens. And then decide if what happens is worth 1,000 calls. And if it is, just keep going until you get to 1,000. Have a great weekend.
Yeah, thank you, Andy, for always riding shotgun here in these spaces. This is our second year. So we already did a year together, Monday through Friday. This is our second year going. So we already committed to another year. So thanks, Andy, for your friendship and committing on the journey with myself, and holding me to a higher standard. So I appreciate that. And everyone else, thank you guys for a great conversation, another great space here. Uh, just remember, at the end of our lives, we'll ask ourselves 4 simple questions. Did I live? Did I love? Did I matter? And did I make a difference? Until next time, keep making a difference. Build that mind, build that body, build that business, build that bank account, but most importantly, build that legacy. So stay hungry and stay humble. We'll see you guys at the top. If you want to keep growing, check out the Revenue Running community. Prices went up, so they're only going to keep going up from here. It's called supply and demand of my time. So, check it out. If it makes sense for you, great. If not, no worries. We'll be here with these spaces for you every single day, Monday through Friday, 6:45 a.m. Pacific. And please subscribe to the newsletter. I pinned it above. If you're not part of the Revenue Running newsletter, we do daily newsletters on sales and marketing mastery. Gives you actionable tips and tricks, strategies that are guaranteed to put more money in your bank account as long as you execute on them. So that's the only ask, is you got to execute it, or you can pay me $600 an hour and I'll do it for you. I'll happily do it for you, no problem. So yeah, make it a productive, but most importantly, profitable day, guys. And let me leave you with a quick outro music.
In a world of uncertainty, the Ronin stands apart. A master of sales and marketing who answers to no one. Forge your own path. Create your own success. 1,000 leaders, 1,000 Ronins. Will you be next? Join the revolution now. Step into mastery at therevenueronin.com.
All right, guys, just remember, AI is not going to buy stuff from you. People are going to buy stuff from you. So act accordingly. All right, guys, and keep an eye out for, on the timeline, I'll share a recap of today's space because I'm recording my Zoom meeting, so I'll have the transcript. So keep an eye out for that. And yeah, much love, guys. Make it a productive and profitable day. We'll see you on the next one. Have a great weekend. We'll be back Monday, 6:45 a.m. Pacific for Momentum Monday. Just put it on your calendar now so you don't forget. Momentum Monday. We don't do motivation around here. We do momentum. All right, much love, guys.